How's it going, everyone? This is K Collections. I know many of us are excited for the 3rd anniversary, not only for Scotty, but for the upcoming GSSR Banners. It'll be broken down into 8 categories, one for each class, while the extra class is a combination of rulers, avengers, and alter egos. Great news! The price has been reduced to 15 Saint Quartz instead of costing the traditional 30, so this is great for free-to-play or casual players to get a guaranteed 5-star without wasting too much money. 15 bucks to me I think it's worth it if you play this game often. That's like what, 2 fast food meals that will probably give you a heart attack or something? Might as well just spend it on digital waifus and husbandos. But in all seriousness, it's still a good deal. So I'm going to recommend the top 3 banners you should consider for the GSSR. To me, these 3 banners offer the best servants within FGO. Now, let me be clear, this doesn't mean the other banners that I did not recommend are bad. Each class has their own amazing servants. Also, just because you have a shot at one servant doesn't mean you'll get them. It's riskier going for Merlin specifically, because more often than not, players won't get him, with a few exceptions here and there, of course. Now, if you don't mind the risk, then go for a specific servant. And that's the thing, if there is a servant you really want and you don't mind spending money for a chance to get them, go for it. I would also recommend you going for a banner that gives you the highest percentage for a new servant, unless you don't mind duplicates. Or go for a class you're lacking in. If let's say you have shit Lancers, then it's worth a shot for the GSSR. My recommendations offers the most high quality servants that can help players within a banner. This doesn't mean they are number 1 on tier list, but in general, excellent servants to have. So let's get started. Here are the top 3 GSSR banners you should consider. I felt like this was an obvious one, but regardless, the casters have some of the strongest, if not the strongest supporters in the game. Merlin, obviously, is highly sought after. If you play FGO, then you know how good he is, specifically with Buster servants. His team-wide invincibility, attack buff, and 20% NP charge will help all players, regardless on whether or not you have strong busters. Not to mention his incredible noble phantasm. We all know the Mash and Merlin combo. But the thing is, Merlin isn't the only godly caster you can potentially get. The OG support caster Waver, even from day 1 with no strengthening quest till now, is still ranked really high on tier list, and there's a reason why. His NP batteries are so helpful. Waver may not be as strong as Merlin for CQs or offer higher damage buffs, but he is universally better than Merlin for farming. But it doesn't stop there. Tamamo is the best art supporter you can have, though not on the same level as Merlin or Waver. She allows her art servant to spam NPs and skills, so those are the top 3 caster supporters. You also have great AoE casters. 3 out of 4 has an NP battery, so excellent for farming against assassins. They are also quite consistent. Example, Nero has excellent skills for survivability, even offering guts to one ally. While Anastasia and Da Vinci have phenomenal NP gains, and they're very consistent, allowing them to spam their noble phantasm. As far as single target goes, Xuanzang is an excellent NP spammer, having an 80% NP battery, while Ilya is a burst damage dealer, having the highest damage output out of all casters. But keep in mind, she also has all the flaws of a burst servant, so some may not like that. The one only servant within this banner that isn't really desired is Scheherazade. Other than that, you have 3 godly supporters, Nero being one of the best AoE casters, and Xuanzang being a strong single target, while the rest are still solid servants. The other banner I most recommend are the archers. We all know that the archer class has some of the best servants, to the point where any decent archers are outshined just because there are so many good ones. Gilgamesh is, well, Gilgamesh. He's insanely popular, so that's a plus. He has the highest AoE damage when facing servants, which you'll come across a lot, NP battery for farming, high damage output, and basically one of the best servants in FGO. And then you have Ishtar, who is superior than Gil when facing non-servants, possessing the highest AoE damage as an archer. 50% NP battery, solid attack buffs. Ishtar is all around one of the best archers ever. Let's not stop there, because you have another godly archer. Tesla has a strong ass noble phantasm because of the extra damage on sky or earth servants, which is basically majority of them. What's crazy is that he has an NP battery that charges 50% and an NP gain buff, allowing him to potentially spam his NP. Napoleon is in a tough spot. He is a very solid servant, but is just outshined by the 3 godly archers mentioned before him. Still, being outshined doesn't mean he sucks. If you get him, sure, it would have been nice to get one of the 3 instead, but he's anti-divine, offensive semi-supporter, star generator, and has the second highest AoE damage for an archer when not facing a servant. Basically, he's like an Archer Francis Drake or Iskandar, which is not bad at all. Archer Artoria is an NP spamming monster. You can loop her attack over and over again. She's also a good semi-supporter, being able to buff attack and defense. If you do loop her NP attacks, your enemy is basically never going to use their Noble Phantasm. She's one of the top tier servants in FGO, so that says a lot. Orion, though he's not really preferred, is still an anti-male damage dealer, so quite a niche role, but there's a lot of male enemies. Worst case scenario, you get an Arjuna. Though he's not the best, at the very least he's a solid farmer, and my God, you can't deny how awesome his updated attacks are. The other worst case scenario would be James Moriarty. But even then, he has high single target damage, NP battery with the sacrifice of stars, which isn't ideal, but still, he can also offer slight offensive support. So, you have 4 top tier archers, one who is really good but is just outshined, an anti-male attacker which is still useful, and the worst you'll get is a decent farmer and a decent single target attacker. The final banner I'd recommend most would be the riders. Like the archers, the rider class have some of the best servants in FGO. Ozzy, for example, is a phenomenal offensive supporter. A team-wide NP battery and attack buff is so helpful. He's also a good damage dealer. Not to mention, he has some good utility. And then you have Ketz, who is a buster crit servant with high damage output, who can also support your team thanks to her charisma and targetable guts, which also buffs buster performance. Ivan, who's a beast, has versatile skills such as an AoE buff removal, which also debuffs attack, a buster resist down debuff from his NP attack, a self debuff cleanse, and a 20-30 like effect. Ivan also has the second highest AoE damage for a rider, Iskandar being number 1. Speaking about Iskandar, he's a burst servant, so not a lot of people may like that. He's also very simple and kind of boring to use sometimes. But just because he's a very simplistic servant does not mean he isn't good. Though not top tier, his offensive supports, and like I said, top damaging AoE makes him quite decent. Iskandar is one of the less desired servants gameplay wise, but if he's one of the less desired, then Riders as a whole has strong servants because Iskandar is still very helpful. He lacks an NP battery, so farming with him takes a bit longer. Which leads us to Francis Drake, who is more preferred and an excellent AoE rider. Similar to Iskandar, she offers a boost in attack and NP damage, and also produces stars with her NP. Unlike Iskandar, she has an NP battery and a faster NP gains, so overall she does have more consistency and momentum. Achilles is overall extremely good, even without Scotty. I don't know where people got that impression, that he's a horrible servant unless you have Scotty with him. Yes, double Scotty will allow him to deal more damage and NP loop, but he still has a 2-hit invincibility, which is so helpful. He's an NP spammer, a star generator, he also crits really well. Achilles is also a good farmer. He is really quick focused though, which is where the criticism comes into play I guess, since quick has always been the inferior playstyle. But if you get Achilles, I can assure you, he'll help a lot. The quick playstyle is where Maid Alter sorta gets critiqued as well. Not her fault, her skills are solid being a good semi-supporter. She fits into quick teams because of her quick buff. She also has general buffs like an attack boost and a very unique skill cooldown reduction skill. Maid Alter also has that high single target out of all riders. The worst servant you're going to get is Maeve, and at the very least she has anti-male and male supportive niche, which isn't all that bad. So that's a breakdown of the 3 best GSSR banners to choose. Now, there are amazing top tier servants in all classes as well. The Lancers and Assassins also have good amount of strong servants. Not to mention, if you want Antonio Salieri, go for the extra class because you're guaranteed to get him, unless your luck is like god awful and you don't even get one copy, which is pretty bad. So which banner are you going for? I'll be going for the Riders, but comment down below, I'd like to know. Special thanks to all my patrons and sponsors. If you want to support my channel, check out my Patreon or channel membership. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more Fates content. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and join my Discord server. All links are in the description. Have an awesome day everyone, till next time.